So good evening, everyone. Myself Sanjeev Singh, and on behalf of Cyberwarfare community, I welcome you all. Before we start today's session, I would like to share a brief detail regarding Cyberwarfare community. As you all know, Cyberwarfare is a cybersecurity concerned community that focuses on towards creation of safe and secure cyberspace area. Our main mission is to keep the community up to date with all around happenings in cyber world. Cyberwarfare also organizes various events and activities within its community, which involves regular up-to-date cybersecurity blogs, talks, and presentation, and also organizes various webinar series along with many hands-on workshops and webinars. Talking about today's weekend's weekly Charcha event, we are having today's topic that is cybersecurity introduction, and our speaker for today's talk is Aliyu Muhammad, and his areas of interest and expertise are cybersecurity analyst and Linux administration. In today's talk, he will be discussing and explaining various activities and terminologies, various concepts of cybersecurity that will include and not limited to cybersecurity introduction, online offline identities, hacker and their types, cyberwarfare, warfare, cyber attacks, concepts and techniques, and many more. And also at the end of session, there will be question answer session in which participant can ask their question and queries. I'm sure that we all gonna enjoy today's talk and we'll be having great opportunity to gain improve our cybersecurity knowledge and skills. So without taking any more times, I would like to call today's speaker. Hello, Aliyu.
Hello.
You can start your talk now. Over to you.
Okay, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, Aliyu.
Okay. Good evening, all of you.
Hello.
My name is Aliyu Muhammad Butu. So I studied BSc IT Data Science in Suresh Gandhihari University. And I'm now trying to start pursuing MSc in cybersecurity. So I came to India, I'm a Nigerian and also a cybersecurity analyst. I have a certification for Security Plus and also an intern at World Cybersecurity and also a member that's Cyber for All community where we are now talking. I'm also a Deputy Secretary General for the All African Student Association. So I went to 2 to 3 countries before India, and I have 4 years experience in cybersecurity in different fields. Because when we say cybersecurity, it includes different domains, different categories, right? So I'm happy to be with you today in this wonderful webinar. And I will ensure that I will explain the cybersecurity and also the importance of cybersecurity. So, first thing we're gonna know, there are many things that is happening. Now the cybercrime, it is just, we can call it anywhere the cybercrime is happening. We have cyber criminals. Many countries want what? Want a cybersecurity profession in order to what? To go to their company, to protect their company, to protect the asset of people. Now we have an internet. Internet is very good and advantage to our lives. It gives somewhat benefit and simplicity of life. Yes, because if you want to send your money from your home, you send from your home to another country, to another state, that is all the work of that. So now, this is an advantage. What if our data is not safe? And that safely, there are three ways in order to what? To secure our information on the internet, which is when you follow a CIA traits. That is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. You are confident that there is a password that you can use, biometrics, any authentication method before you can access an account. Then when you go to integrity, we ensure that the data we send is not tampered, is not changed by man-in-the-middle attack or any different types of attacks. So now the cybersecurity in the world nowadays, in this year and the future, the cybersecurity vacant is going to be so much, right? All the company will want their data to be safe because there is no company without safety, without security. So this is a good career that if you build yourself on it, I'm telling you, you will be happy for that because you are going to help. It is going to help you not to get money, but to also help people. Doctors, when they are working, they do two things. They are saving life, they are getting money. This is the same. Because if the person gathered the money for a full year and someone hacked his account and took all this money, maybe he spent 60 years working in an organization, but once one person come and and take this money, hack his account and take this money, then this is almost dead. He is become like dead. He will have no use. We just think today. Some people, they do suicide for that. So we are also saving the lives of people. So now what is cybersecurity? That is what we focused. And we say cybersecurity is an information technology. And it is used for protection of computer systems, networks from the thief, right? Which they will use that to damage either a software or a hardware. Now, not only systems, when we go to the network, there is something like IoT. Everything now in the world, things have changed. With IoT, you can able to to manage your home in an easy process. You can, with your phone, you don't need to go to the wall and on the fan. You have to do it in your phone. You lock your room with with your phone. You don't need to to go and put padlock or this. Everything has changed. Whatever you are doing, fridge, everything. So this Internet of Things is a very advantage now in the world. But the thing is that what if it is not secured? Someone will hack it and enter your room. That means there is no advantage. Right? So that is the work of the cybersecurity to ensure there is no any damages, there is no any attack to an organization. So we say that it is an ongoing effort in networking system and all the data from unauthorized, right? Before we talk about something called CIA, that is confidentiality. If we allow an unauthorized access or a person to an account, that means we don't have confidence on what we are doing, right? And everything we are doing without confidence, there will be so much problem in that. So we need to safeguard our identity, your data, your computer devices, IoT, and everything. And when we are talking about online identity, we are talking about something like all of us, we have a social media account. When you go, there is a person with more than 15 users accounts on social media, and these are one of the most important way that the hackers used to what? Used to follow all of your informations in order to track you, take all of your information, and break into your device. And our personal information is all on the internet with name, age, your phone number, your email. So we have to know what we are doing, to know what is cybersecurity in order to protect others. Because all the people in the world can never come, all the 50% to be a cybersecurity profession. Cybersecurity profession must be a special person that has an idea, a good idea about different parts in computer. Not only a single course. Or to say I'm doing Java programming, he has to know the basic knowledge of all the programming languages. Right? And there are many breaches that happens. And the first breach I'm going to explain here is that the online password manager for one company called LastPass. So they detected what? Some activities on their network during what? July 2015, right? So they turned out that hackers had stolen the user's email address, passwords, and all the password reminders. Although the breaches, the password has hashes. But fortunately for the users, the hackers was not able to obtain any encrypted password vault. And that created a very big problem to that organization. So what has happened on that? So even though there was a security breach, so that company, LastPass, could still safeguard their users. How do they safeguard their users? They what? They require email verification or multi-factor authentication. And that multi-factor authentication helps in order to send what? A password to authenticate in different two devices. It sends some code to your mobile devices or computer. And that email verification and multi-factor authentication help them not to destroy the not to destroy the people's assets. And they know that there is whatever there is a new login from an unknown devices or IP addresses. So the hackers will also need to master to access the account. So now this company has a very big breach, and the user should always be aware of phishing attack because they have some information. So since they have some information, they will go back, right? They will go back and start doing a phishing attack through their emails in order to gather other informations. So without too much of time, I have two information to discuss. Another second breach, because of time, cybersecurity is very big career. So since it's very big, then we can only touch a little. Most important, the core aspect of what? Of cybersecurity. So there is another company. That company is called VTech. It's for a toy maker for children. Now the children at home, there are websites the children go and learn things. So and that company, VTech, suffered a security breach in their database. A hacker hacked into their data breach on November 2015. So this breach could affect millions of customers around the world because that is a worldwide and international company. So this breach affects millions of customers around the world, including children's data, and they expose the sensitive data like names, email addresses, and passwords, pictures, and chat logs. And that, as I said before, our online identity, we have to safeguard, we have to hide. You don't need to, like, if you have an account on a social media, to put all of your information. You have to limit. And the problem that they have, the reason why they were hacked, because they have no SSL. That is certificate. So that one allow hackers to what? To go to what? Can able to hack into that system. And you know that we have an application like Wireshark. When you don't have SSL, with Wireshark, we can capture all the information, passport and everything on a particular network. But although that company did something, they have their password is unhashed. And that hash, yes, is very useful. But nowadays, hash can be cracked, can use many types of tools in order to break that. So now we have to firstly know who is hackers, because those hackers are the one that we are going to what? We are going to pretend the company in order not hacker to what? To hack the company. Right? We have to know the people, the person we are dealing with, the people we are dealing with. Who are those hackers? Do you know what? We all have to have a knowledge, the same as a hacker. But when you come to the types of hacker, I think you can understand what is the difference of hackers and how they work. So we say that now the attackers are individual or groups that attempt to exploit a vulnerability. We all know what is vulnerability, which is the weaknesses. A very big example of vulnerability, I have a room and my window is open. I don't have anything that close that. But if I can sleep with my money and everything, I think that someone will come through that door. So this is vulnerability. So when you take something and close that, right? You put a good window, you close, then you don't have any problem. You have patch. This is called patches. You patch the vulnerabilities. We can see that most of the company, Android, that is Google, iOS, all these many softwares, they used to send us an update for their application or operating system. Why? Because they identified that there is what? They identify that there is a vulnerability in that particular software or operating system. So they sent you what? They sent you an update, patches. They have patched, they closed, where that attacker cannot able to exploit. So, and this vulnerability of financial gain, attackers, most of them, they do it for the financial gain, to get their money, right? So that although there are some people that are doing they are interested in that. They feel happy when they are doing. So the hackers they're interested in everything you have, from your credit card record, product design, and anything with value. If the thing is value, then hacker will try in order to what? To change the owner of that thing to be the owner of it. And before we talk about the types of hackers, we need to see what is amateurs, which is, we call it a script kiddies. And that they are usually an attackers with a little or no skill. Some people has a little, some people no skill. Often they use a tools Like I will just go to my Kali Linux, I know how to run a command, just a little idea, I will go to the Nmap and use Nmap, I use Wireshark and many tools for hacking wireless, CCTV cameras and many things. So at least while others are trying to demonstrate their skills that cause harm, when you are trying to breach, you are trying to exploit into what? Into an organizational server. So then sometimes that process used to affect the what? The server. Maybe you can destroy things before you can able to get your information. You have to delete some files. And we know everything in computer, especially when we go back to Linux, you can understand all this operating system, all these pictures are the combination of what? Binaries. We have a command, we have a file that include a text. That's what gives you color. We have a color code, blue, green, and many more color. And that color is a combination of what is a text and numbers that combine to create something, right? So they're using basic tools. Which is our choice, and the result can be really devastating. So now, what are the types of hacker? We have black hat hacker, gray and white hat hacker. So now this is not only the types of hackers, but this is the main types of hackers. So if we explain about that black hat hacker, we call it a bad guy. Why? Because a black hacker, he used to exploit into what? Into people's systems, a company servers without authorization. He used to go and steal things, valuable things. And before I talk about gray, let me go to the white, because there is this, the black hat hacker and the white hat hacker are in opposite. So the white hat hacker is a good guy that works for a company. The way how we want all of you to be a white hat hacker, not a black hat hacker, to work with an organization, so that you can what? You will not allow any attacker, any bad hacker, any black hacker. Now our language of speaking is going to change from what? From black hat hacker and white hat hacker. If I say black hat hacker, then we know this is a bad guy. When we say white hat hacker, we know this is a good guy. He works for the organization. He used to try and hack the server to see whether he can do it. If he can do it, then you know that there is a vulnerability. Then he will try and patch that patches, that the vulnerability. So we have what? Gray hat hacker. What is the difference between these two? This gray hat hacker and other two, white and black. The gray hat hacker is the same. Is not a black hat hacker. It's not a white hat hacker. It is in between. Because a great hacker, he can do what? He can do bad things. He can do good things. And these are the other types of hackers. Under black hat hackers, we have suicide hackers. And those suicide hackers, they are trying to what? To exploit into what? Into computer to steal confidential information. And this confidential information, they know that a cybersecurity can catch them, can identify them, because they have no much knowledge than the cybersecurity analysts. But some they have much more than that. So suicide hackers, they are the reason why they call it a suicide, because they can be caught. They are just doing it to get a money. But the advantage of becoming a suicide hacker, because you will gain a lot of money. The money they are getting in just a little time, they become rich. So, and we explained the white hat hacker, we have we have Red Hat hacker, we have national support hackers. And in national support hacker, if we are going to explain, it is what? This one is supported by what? By a nationality, the government. You are going to work for the government, you are going to what? Any problem that is going to happen, any breach, any activism that is going to come against the confidentiality of information in the country, you are responsible to try and what? To stop that. All right? And sometimes we know that they will cut by the cyber team. So although knowing how he or she act, what, and hack the system, so this is like suicide bombers. That's why you see like there is something like a bomb, right? And the main motivation of this group is to get a high money, offer a big revenge from their enemies. So, and then when we know about great hat hackers, right? So, and great hat hackers, that is, he is in between. In between what? In between the black hat hackers and the white hat hackers. So let me go back, because we didn't talk about the red hat hackers. And that red hat hackers is a cybersecurity, their action is for cybersecurity activities and attack what? Back for the bench. And those white hat hackers who behave just like, with a little difference. They just behave like others, but with a little difference. A red hat hacker do not defend only. He or she also attack back to the hacker. Right? When the hacker starts to exploit, then he will try to follow the hacker and hack that hacker. So the main aim is not only, that is the main aim of red hat hacker. So it's not only to detect the vulnerability and defend towards the hackers, but also defeating what? The hacker. Right? So we go forward to talk about the gray hat hackers. So, and that gray hat hackers we have discussed, there are two categories. They have classic gray hat hackers and they have malicious insider. So, what is this malicious insider? This malicious insider is the hacker group, yes, who serve to an organization to get information about what? They get information about their rivals. Maybe we have an organization, and that organization, they are getting higher impact than us. Then we have to destroy them. We have to destroy their reputation. Right? So we have a little time. We have 33 pages, but we are on 11, and the time it is almost remain like 15 minutes. So let me quickly continue and briefly explain other details that remains. We have junior hackers. So what are those junior hackers? So before we explain the junior hacker, we know that we have three categories under the junior hackers, which we have the script kiddies, we have green hat hackers, we have blue hackers, right? And what is the script kiddies? That is the first. That one, they used to do a simple attack. The junior hackers, they use a different hacking tools, program and code. What? The main aim of script kiddie is to gain an attention toward other actions. They do some cyber security attacks. The attack can be via DOS and DD, that is DDoS attack, which is a distributed denial of services. Right? And they The green hat hackers, that one, their motivation is just to become an experienced hacker. They are learning in order what? To get what? Experience to be a great hacker, to be a great hacker, to have a professionality. They are just trying to go to this website and let me try this. Like how we are now. If you don't have a server to make an explanation or to try our knowledge, we are going to some website to try. This is the green hat hackers. They are trying so that to have a practical aspect and learn about what? Hacking. So, and we have a blue. That blue hat hackers, this one, they do it for revenge. And those one, when they are angry, junior hackers type, they are like a junior types hacks, because this is under junior hackers. So they are like script kiddies and green and hacker, but with a strict difference. That strict difference, they are learning for revenge toward any one organization. To become an expert hacker is not a main motivation of these types of hacker. Maybe there is one company, my father has a company, and that company, the company that my father has, one other company destroyed your father's company, and I want to take a revenge. I will ask, okay, what can I do in order to destroy them? I don't have power, I don't have money in order to spend to go and destroy that company, that destroy my father's reputation. So what I do, I will just go and learn cybersecurity. I'm just doing this not to become an expert, but to learn in order to take a revenge. So, right? So, all the groups of attackers that I speak at break into computer network to gain access, depending on the intent of break in. There is a reason for that. I'm breaking for me to go and have the password to enter. I'm in my university and I don't have a good mark, or I have a carryover. Okay, I'm going to what? I'm going to that website in order to change my mark. So this is your aim, is to go and change your mark. Some people, they are trying to transfer money to their account. That is the differences. So there is some people called organized hackers. That organized hackers include organization of cyber criminals, activism, terrorists, and state-sponsored hacker. So now we know who are criminals, bad people. Activism, that is a group of people that used to what? They used to hack a system. They are just an organization. They are getting paid. They have their leader. Right? We have terrorists. Also bad people. We have state-sponsored hackers. And that state-sponsored hacker are other hackers that can able to hack another place. Like maybe there is there is an election for political election. Then that people, they will hire in order to to change the voters and do many things. To hack the website, put votes of the other the other person that they want them to pass the election. So cyber criminals are usually a group of professional criminals. So focus on controlling power, wealth. So these criminals are highly sophisticated and organized, and they may even provide a cyber crime as service to other criminals, right? As I talk about activism, also make a political statement to create awareness to issue that is important to them, right? They create, sometimes you can see some information, but they are fake information. So this is a state-sponsored attackers. I've already discussed about it. Let's talk about what is a cyber warfare. So we are living in a cyber world. where there is a communication between one country to another. So, and this cyberspace has become another important dimension of our warfare, right? And what is happening is that another country are fighting with another country. America fighting with China, India fighting with this, Africa fighting with this. But the thing is that the fighting is not a physical fighting. There is no soldiers. And the country that has a cybersecurity professional will defeat the other with many. There are many soldiers, but they have no professional people in cybersecurity field. With a in a cyberspace, a cybersecurity, hackers can be able to destroy an entire country, infrastructure. And you know, a country without infrastructure, they are just living, right? That we call they are not a developed country. So cyber warfare is an internet-based conflict that involves the penetration of computer system and network of other nations, right? So we say that these attackers have a resources and expertise to launch massive internet. So I will give you a little idea about what has happened with one person in America, a woman, which is a breach. They call that. Hello? Okay, I was disconnected, but I connected. Right? Can you hear me?
Okay, continue.
Okay, so now what has happened? He called her from Africa. He told her that they have a money which is more than $1 million and they want to give to all people. And but she cannot be given that money until she sent only $50. And she said that, okay, I have more than $6,000 in my account. And that account is my account and for my husband. We gather our money together. We are using the same account with my father and my family. She said that, okay, let me go and send that 50 because that 50 is nothing. She said that she asked, okay, I want to send this money. How can I send? Then what? He told her that there is a website you have to go and pay using your card. And he created this password. And that password, he created this website. This website is a website created by this attacker. So when she go to that website, she took her card and put all the information, password and everything. She punched send. When she sent, he has access to all of the information of this card. And he can able to withdraw all the money they belong for the whole of their family. And after this, her husband divorced her, and they have totally nothing. Her husband worked as a doctor for 7 years. He gathered all this money, but one day someone from Africa checked all their belongings. They just become like a mad. So that is it. So this is, but let us talk about the example of cyber warfare in breach. So this, like a state sponsor, are also one of the cyber warfare attack, like Stuxnet malware. This was designed to damage Iran nuclear enrichment plant, right? Stuxnet is very powerful, that one. And this malware do not hijack targeted computer to steal information. So this one, it was designed to damage physical equipment. A physical equipment, like this computer is going to destroy this computer. Not the ICs and everything, not to delete everything. Right? And when this one was sent in nuclear, you know, nuclear can bomb because it's going to destroy it where it is. And that's why it what? It was designed to damage physical equipment that was controlled by computers. And it used modular coding. That's why we say that if you want to be a cybersecurity specialist, you have to know the knowledge about program. That is programming language. Right? And that they program to perform a specific task within malware. You know what is malware? What are the types of malwares? Like viruses, all this man of the middle attack. Many there is different types of malware. And it used to store digital certificate to the attack and appear legitimate to the system. So let's quickly discuss about attacks, concept and techniques. So we have different concepts, we have different attacks, especially in the modern cyber attack. So and this modern cyber attack considered to be blended attacks. What is blended attack is something that you cannot see it, it's just happening. And blended attack is a multiple techniques. That is a method to infiltrate and attack a system. So when an attacker cannot prevent, so it is a job of a cybersecurity profession during their discussion to reduce the impact of that attack. Don't say that, okay, attack is happening, I cannot do anything. You have to what? You have to reduce the impact of that. So, how to finding a security vulnerability? Let's ask ourselves. So now if there is a vulnerability, how can we find it? So we say security vulnerabilities are any kind of software or hardware defeat. As I explained, there is an OS, there is application, all this one can have a what? A vulnerability. So after getting the knowledge of vulnerability, malicious user attempt to exploit. And what exploits just is used to describe a program written to take advantage of non-vulnerability. Why do we say non? Because the vulnerability that is the what? That is known by an attacker. He has a research about what the vulnerability we have. He knows everything. That is non-vulnerability. So, and let's talk about software vulnerabilities. This software vulnerability is usually introduced by errors. When you have an error on operating system or application code. On this one I explained before. So we have a little time we have to move. So we have Sinful Knock in 2015, and attack that's happened. This module vulnerability called Sinful Knock. So this one was discovered in a Cisco operating system. So this vulnerability allow attackers to gain a control of enterprises grade routers. And that routers there is legacy Cisco. These are their numbers 1841, 2811, and 3825. So the attacker could monitor them, monitor all the networks. You know, we have different software we use to monitor a network, right? So their communication and everything they are doing. So we have the goal of software updates. So the goal of software update, I explained that before, that it is used to update, it stay current and avoid exploitation of vulnerability. That the process of entering that is called what? Exploitation. While some companies have a penetration tester teams, this team is just for penetration tester. I have a company, I have a group that just for penetration testing. If there is a problem, they can go what? They can go and see and try all the possible ways in order to see the places in and patch it. So, and this find a patch software vulnerability before they can get exploited. So we have a hardware vulnerability. Since we have a vulnerability for the software, we can change a code, we can do many things. So what of the hardware? And we know the hardware is something that can be touched. Like the PC, you can touch, monitor, these are the hardware. So how can it be a software with a vulnerability? Like RAM, memory, and many things, capacitors. You say this one is introduced by designing flows, and even RAM memory, essential capacity installed very close to another. So they install what? Capacitors. This one also create what? A vulnerability. And when it discovered, due to maybe proximity, constant changes applied to this capacitor, that one could confluence neighbor, that is the other capacitor, based on the design and exploitation called raw hammer was created. So let's talk about the categorization of security. Categorizing what security vulnerability, it categorized into different ways. And the most software security vulnerability are what? Buffer overflow, non-validated input, race condition, weaknesses in security practice, and access control problems. So the buffer overflow, we quickly explain that this one, when like a memory, in a memory we have like when you go to what? Data structure and algorithm, we have a buffer overflow. Like when you go to the stack, when you are putting a data and the data is full in a memory, then it's going to be overflow. This one creates what? A vulnerability. And whatever we talk now, we have to discuss about vulnerability, because only this vulnerability that allows the exploitation. So if we don't have vulnerability, then we don't need any security, right? And these buffer are memory areas located in an application, which by changing data beyond a boundaries. So we have what? Non-validated input. Like when you go to what? When you go to the file and use SQL injection to attack a system, right? Maybe you create a program and you have a non-validated input. So that one is the process when you are imputing a data. This coming into the program could have a malicious content, designing a false program, just behave unintended way. So when we consider this, it receives image for processing. Maybe this is a malicious image. The user could craft image file with invalid image dimensions. So what is a race condition? That is also vulnerability when an output, we talk about input. This is validation. So this is output of an event depend on orders. When I order thing to come out and the time. So this race condition becomes a source of vulnerabilities when it's require order timing, event do not occur in the correct order or proper time. So what is security weaknesses and the practices? So sorry, it is like elementary pages and we have only 2 minutes. Let's quickly explain. So that weakness this is called another name for a vulnerability. So system and sensitive data can be protected through techniques such as authentication, authorization, and encryption. Even when we go to encryption, we have different types of encryption. So, and this authorization is the one that is going, you have to, authentication, you have to, it's used to validate, to know the person, whether the person is allowed, it is authorized to enter. And that authorization comes in what is the privilege. Okay, I'm an accountant. When I'm an accountant, when I enter login, then I will go to accountant page. If I'm an admin, when I go to the same user page, login page. So when you log in, it takes you to your to your admin. If you are not admin, financial department, then it's going to take you to your part and work. That is the authorization, to give you the permission you have. So we have to have the authentication authorization to have a security practices. So it is strongly advised that developers use security libraries that are already created, tested, and verified. So now we have access control. What is access control? This is a process of controlling those who want and ranges from managing physical to equipment. So just to dictate who has an access to resources, right? This is access control problems, and they can't do with it, such as to read or change the file. So many security vulnerabilities are created by improper use of access control. And that access control is, let me go back, it's almost the same thing as what? That authentication. So almost the last page. So it is all about access control. Nearly all the access control and security practice can be overcome if the hackers physically access the target equipment. Because we have a what? Physical equipment, physical security. We have administrative security, right? And that physical security, you can able to see everything. Like when you go to AWS, they have the places where they have their servers located, right? And this, you can see the hard drives and everything there. So since they have what? They have a security, physical security, there is a padlock, there is nothing, then this is what? There is no any physical access, right? So I think that will be the end of this webinar, my presentation. So after this, we will allow each and everyone that has a question to ask a question about a wall of cybersecurity. Hello.
Hello, participants. If you have any question or queries, you can ask them. Anyone?
So I think there will be no, okay. There is no answer. So you can give a closing remark, right?
Yes, sure. Okay, then participant, it is requested to fill the feedback form that I have mentioned in the chat box. Everyone should fill the form. As we know already, we can improve ourselves and give our best next time. And also, don't forget to mention the topics that you want to cover in our upcoming weekly charcha. Okay, guys, we are ending today's session. Thank you, Aliyu, for such great session. And thank you all the participants for your involvement and making this talk successful. Hope everyone enjoyed this session. See you everyone in the next weekly charcha. Bye bye.